Alrighty, so I just went through here and added the 60 guys to the spring training roster. I'll just scroll through these guys real quick. You can pause and look at these if you want to take a look at who's on my spring training roster for whatever reason. And really the only thing worth noting is that I have Ketel Marte playing left field, so he can actually get his position up ready for opening day. Alrighty, so we have reached opening day here. Our owner only expects us to play 500 ball. I would like to try to make the playoffs this year. I think it'd be very disappointing if we don't, but our owner only wants us to play 500 ball. And then it doesn't seem like we have any guys in the top 100 prospects list, or the top 10 prospects. Do we have anybody on the actual list? For batters, we have Marte is 35, Luna's 48, Perez is 59. Even though Perez has been very bad his entire time in the minor leagues, he's finally in Double-A this year. Maybe he'll figure things out. And then if we go to the pitchers, we have Serrano's 27, Pridgeon's 52, and Brian Perez is 88. Alrighty, so we have gone through and sent down all the guys we need to send down, so the pitching staff looks like this. The rotation is going to be Soroka, Gilbert, Dunn, Gavitis, and Frankie Montas, while the bullpen is Delaplane, Mills, and Che on the back end of it, with Aquino, Newsom, Then, Perez, and Kirby in the middle relief and long relief roles, while on the hitting side of things, it's MJ Melendez and Rowley as the catcher. Right now they just have them like basically sharing time as the catcher. Evan White at first, Kim at second with Rockio backing him up, Riley at third, Marte at short, Ketel Marte in left, Kellnick in center, Kyle Lewis in right, and then Jason Rosario is the DH, while Almora Jr. is the backup outfielder on center versus righty, and then, like I said, Rockio's the backup infielder, Joey Votto's the backup first baseman, and also DH against righties, and then against lefties, it's pretty similar, just Rowley becomes the DH against lefties, the backup DH against lefties, I mean, and then also, like, the pinch hitting and whatnot gets switched around because of the matchups. So yeah, this is going to be the Ozzie Guillen-led Seattle Mariners here in 2024. Hopefully, we're actually going to be good. Also, I should mention that you probably noticed that Dean did not make the roster to start the day, or start the season, just because he was very good to end last year. I wanted him to be on the team, but we had to cut somebody from the team to start. And send down, and he was just the only one that made sense, because it did not want Then, Perez, or Kirby, who were all, like, future starters, guys who, like I said, could start, and they're definitely more valuable than somebody like, I don't know, maybe not more valuable, you know what I mean. These are guys that I definitely want to be up here. Kirby definitely earned it. Then is a guy who could be a very good starter someday. And then also Brian Perez, who is also just a very good prospect for us, and I want him to be up here as well. So, maybe at some point I send Then down or something for Dean, or what's like literally the first injury that happens to my pitchers, Dean's the first guy up. That's just 100% what's happening, and this is our opening day roster. Let's kick it off. And we lose opening day 3-1 to the Oakland A's. Mike Soroka, wasn't his fault. He went 7 1/3, only gave up 2 runs, struck out 10. The bats just did not come through. The bats looked like they came through. They hit 9 hits. 9 hits, only 1 run. So just, not driving into anybody. Melendez and Votto doubled. He had a pinch hit. Okay, I was like, why did Votto even play? But yeah, Votto pinch hit and got a hit. Alrighty, so it's April 11th now. We are 6-7 to start the season. And we just had a decent series against Minnesota, and by decent, I mean we swept them, but the interesting thing is that we won a game in 21 innings, and we had a 7-run 21st inning. I mean, at that point, the guys are just dead. They're out there just somehow getting through the game on, like, muscle memory, like their legs are dead, they cannot move, and somehow they score 7 runs in a 21st inning against the Twins. Did they throw a pitcher? Did they throw a hitter that inning? No, it was an actual reliever. He just decided to give up a ton of runs, and we win in the 21st inning as we throw Gilbert, Che, Aquino, Then, Newsom, Perez, Kirby, and we shaved Mills for the end of the game. Kirby pitched 4 innings in relief. What a beast. He came in and just threw 4 innings and extras, and then it didn't even affect the next day, because the next day we won 5-1. Justin Dunn pitched great. I mean, incredible. We sweep the Twins. We're getting back on a roll here. Okay, that's not good. Jared Kellnick is out for 2 weeks with an oblique strain, so he's going to have to go to the IL. We're going to do that real quick here. 10-day IL. But we did also just have a good series against Baltimore. So we win 3 in a row against Baltimore to kick off that series, and then lost the 4th game of the set. But still, very solid stretch here we've got going, and now we have to decide which outfielder is going to come up to the big leagues to take the outfield spot, because Almora is probably going to place him center. And I think it's just going to be Clace, because we've already used his option to send him down. So his option's already been used, and I think that we're just going to call him up to AAA here, or we could add Sanchez. I think Sanchez, because I think I just want to get Clace down there and getting him, like, ready to get up. He's 21. We want to get him hot before we call him up from AAA, and he is not hot right now. So we are going to call up Sanchez to add him to the 40-man, and then have him play some center field with Almora Jr. And Kellnick is already back, as we are sitting at 13-13 on the season, and Sanchez played in exactly 3 games. So Sanchez goes right back down to the minor leagues. Or no. Do we want to? Because how much time did he miss? It is the 25th. He went down on the 14th. And it's an oblique thing. Obliques are always weird. Yeah, we'll just throw in a rehab assignment for a bit and keep Sanchez up here for a couple more days. Alright, so we are now into May. Jared Kellnick has 26 AAA ABs through 4 games, and he is just tearing the cover off the ball. So he's ready. He's back. Sanchez goes back down to AAA. Kellnick comes back up to the big leagues, and we are ready to kick off the month of May as we won the first game of, or that was yesterday. We won the last game of April in a 10th inning, a 1-0 win. Soroka, scoreless 7 innings. Mills, scoreless. Delaplane, scoreless. It was actually Josh Green. Wow, Josh Green is on the Astros now. He actually pitched 8 scoreless innings, but then their reliever, Riley Cabral, gave up the 10th inning run. So yeah, Josh Green in a duel against his former organization. It seems like he's actually having a pretty good start to the year with the Houston Astros. He was not too bad last year with them. Never really did much with the Tigers, but it looks like the Astros liked him, still looking like a sickly Crusader Kings character. Alright, so it's May 13th now, and we just had a pretty decent stretch and followed off by a pretty bad stretch. So we had a series against Texas here, where we won that 3-game set, 2 games to 1. Looks like it was a 4-game set, we won 3 games, they won 1. And then we had a series against the Angels where we took the first 3 games of that, which was a sweep, actually. And then we followed up another series against Texas with 3 straight losses. And then we finished it off with a win. And now we're currently at today where we have no game, but we are 1 game out of first place on May 13th. So a much better start to the year for our Mariners here. Still very much in it. One thing I am not liking what I'm seeing is Ketel Marte has gotten off to a pretty bad start here. He's got some home runs, but he's not hitting. He's got a .9 WAR. I'm hoping that he's just kind of struggling to start the season. I'm obviously not going to give up on Ketel Marte after just, a month and a half of play. But, yeah, I mean, guys turn it around all the time. So hopefully he is able to turn it around for us. Another thing that I'm not liking what I'm seeing from our bats is Jason Rosario, who is leading off as our DH. His job is to get on base and hit for us. Just literally his job is to get on base. Anything else he does is extra, and he's not doing that. He's got a 284 OBP. I mean, what's going on here? What is going on? I don't want to give up on this guy because he has such great I ratings, that he, you know, it just, I mean, he's incredible. Like, it's not like my scouts overvaluing this guy. OSA thinks about the same of him. So, I think we're just going to stick with him for a bit and just see how it goes. And also just some things that have happened so far in the season. That Moss guy we traded for in the Joey Gerber trade, won Player of the Week in Double-A. Miguel Soto is in Triple-A. He had a 6-hit game. Michael Bush, that first baseman, had won Player of the Week at some point in Triple-A. And then also the Star of the Week earlier in April was, or earlier in May, was Jared Kellnick in the majors. I don't know why. That was the guy that the Mets lost in the Rule 5 that apparently the whoever took him in the Rule 5 didn't ever use, and he just went right back to the Mets. And he's still not in the big leagues. I mean, this guy is a guy who OSA thinks has a 75 potential, and he just crushes AAA, and they're just not doing anything with this guy. But a quick check on how some of the new guys are doing. Mike Soroka, incredible. Incredible start to the year, what we expected, doing the damn thing. Frankie Montes, not so great start to the year, but, you know, we'll deal with it. And Jared Kellnick, obviously just tearing the cover off the ball as usual. Not a slow start for him this season, and actually an incredibly hot start. Austin Riley has been very solid to start the season. You know, or maybe not very solid, but he's been solid. Yeah, no, I was looking at his Atlanta numbers, and I was like, wow, very solid. But no, he's, you know, he's fine. Hopefully he picks things up a bit in the lineup with us. We already saw Ketel Marte. Evan White tearing the cover off the ball to start. That's to be expected with him. And then Marte, our shortstop, actually has been pretty okay. You know, he has been a plus ZR guy, so that's good to see. He's not a terrible defensive shortstop, which is to be expected. But, you know, this is his first extended look at the major league, so we're not expecting like an 8-war season here from Marte. But, you know, as he figures things out, he should improve along with the season. And then Kim here, kind of struggling as well. We just have a lot of guys who are kind of like okay at the plate right now and then being carried by Kellnick and White at the dish. All right, Evan White is going to be out for a week with a hamstring tendonitis, so we're just going to throw him on the 10-day IL. That means that Joey Votto is going to get some time at first base. And I could call up somebody like Michael Bush here, who is tearing the cover off the ball in AAA. And he's already had his option used this year, so it's not like we're like going to waste his option by calling up for a week. All right, so we're going to make some changes here. They actually have Michael Bush starting at first base, which I don't mind because he is incredible. And I think what we're actually going to do here is we're going to send down Jason Rosario because his job is to get on base, and he is not doing that through 200 ABs. He needs to go to the AAA and figure things out because this is his job. His job is to hit, get on base. He's not doing that. We cannot afford to have a guy like him struggling in the lineup for this long. So he's going to go down to AAA, be down there. And then rather than calling up another fielder because Evan White's going to be back in, like, I think a few days, like 6 days or something. So we're just going to throw Dean up here in the big leagues while he's there. And we're going to have another arm in the pen. All right, so we have gotten through the month of May, and the batter of the month was Jared Kellnick. Not surprising to see because he is absolutely destroying the ball, slashing 347, 431, 659 slugging. He already has 15 home runs through the first 2 months of the season. He had 20 all of last year, 24 the year before. It looks like we're on pace for another 43-type home run season for Jared Kellnick. Gonna flash that 6-WAR season again, hopefully. I mean, he's on pace for even. He's got a 186 WRC plus. Just tearing the cover off the ball here. And also, Brian Perez gets Rookie of the Month, I think. Yeah, Rookie of the Month trophy. Brian Perez in the bullpen, a 2 ERA, a 2.81 FIP. Opposing hitters are OPSing 579. Not walking anybody, not giving up home runs. Great to see from Brian Perez. And then also the apparently batter of the month was Sherten Apostle in the PCL with the Reno Aces because they are not using him in the big leagues apparently. And Evan White is back here on June 2nd. And we are actually going to have to make a decision here because we have an extra arm right now. We could send down somebody like George Kirby, who's kind of struggling in the pen. He's definitely struggling a bit. I don't really want to send him down, though, but I do want to keep Dean up. I think I'm just going to send down Kirby. We're just going to do, we're going to send down Kirby to AAA. And then Evan White's going to come back up to the big leagues, and Joey Votto is going to continue being the backup first baseman. He is the DH right now, and we could keep him there, but I think I'm kind of wanting Michael Busch. Let's see what Guillen wants. Okay, yeah, so Guillen still wants Votto to be the DH, with Busch as the backup first base. But the thing is, Busch, I mean, this guy has been incredible in AAA for 2 seasons in a row now. He was really good in AA, too. I mean, this guy deserves... I mean, he is a younger Joey Votto at this point. So, hits against both sides. I think we're going to force Busch to be the backup DH, or the DH here, and Votto will just be the backup first baseman. And you may be asking yourself, like, wow, Busch can play some first base. Why don't you play him at first and then White at DH? Because Evan White is incredible at first base. He is just an elite elite defensive first baseman, on top of being also a incredible bat. And we have now reached the first-year player draft here on June 4th, as we just won four games in a row after a bit of a skid there against Kansas City and Boston. In Atlanta. We had a skid there towards the end of May, but it looks like June is starting off on a hot note here with a big series against Nationals in Washington, and then also we started off with this Boston series with a W. And we got 2 games left in that series before we head out to Philadelphia. But so far, we're turning things around here. And then as far as the standings go, we are currently in 3rd place, 4.5 games back behind the Astros, still very much in this, obviously, and then also very much in the wild card. Hopefully we're able to, keep this up throughout the season as guys continue to hit better, hopefully, as the season progresses. So for the draft, we have the 15th overall pick this year, and the mock draft thinks that we're going to be taking starting pitcher Randy Deck. Actually a pretty elite name. From Boston, dude. Went to Richmond, played for the Spiders. I mean, this guy has a lot of pitches. I mean, if this guy's available when I'm taking my guy, I mean, I'm going to take him. It looks like he could be really freaking good. There's a fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, splitter, and knuckle curve, and they're all above at least average pitches. All of them above average, except for the changeup, which is average, or potential-wise. I mean, this guy could be... I mean, he could be insane. We have gotten to our pick here, and it looks like Randy Deck actually got drafted before us. So we have the 15th overall pick. Are these the... Okay, yeah, so Randy Deck got taken 13th overall, so 2 picks from before where he was slotted to go. I mean, this guy is... I can't see or who drafted him. We should be able to go to his history. The Angels took him, so this guy could be in our division here. We're going to add him to our shortlist, actually, and just see how he ends up. So now we could look at this, like, elite closer. But, I mean, I don't like drafting closers this early, even a guy who is viewed this highly by my scout and OSA. Like, they think this guy is going to be, like, the best closer of all time. Extreme ground ball, power pitcher, fastball slider. Even if he is that good of a closer, he's 6'8". I mean, I'd probably rather have somebody who's, like, more valuable of a position, like maybe Ken Deppen here from Rutgers. He's from Philly, went to Rutgers. Also looks like he plays a decent outfield here. 2-way guy at Rutgers, has some decent, or actually some really good hitting ratings, and this guy, and he's fast. Jeez. Ken Deppen from Rutgers, right off the bat here, looking like the guy we want to take. This guy is from Auburn. Throws much harder than Deppen, or not much harder. Deppen throws hard, but he's not a 2-way guy, and I'm thinking we're going to take... Who does my scout think we should take? Marcus Kellman. Yeah, so our scout thinks we should take the Auburn guy. I think we should take Ken Deppen. OSA thinks Ken Deppen's going to be elite. My scout's not as high on him. I'm very high on Ken Deppen, so we're going to take this guy. 1st round draft pick, 15th overall to Rutgers. We can afford this, that's no problem, $4 million, and we are drafting Ken Debin. And then I see here in the second round, this elite closer is still here. My scout thinks we should take Joe Burrows, not Joe Burrow, Joe Burrows from Nova Southeastern. I guess that's a JUCO. Yeah, it's a JUCO, I'm assuming. A switch hitting outfielder. Looks like he has some really good range. Yeah, switch hitter, has some decent hitting ratings, possibly. It looks like he pitches as well. Probably more of a hitter, though. So do I want to go with Joe Burrows here, or do I want to maybe take this guy? Because I feel like this guy might not be there in round 3. Also, he's demanding a lot of money. We can't afford that, though, probably. I think I am going to take Burrows and just hope that this closer is here next round. And then if he is, we'll snag him in the third round. So Joe Burrows, oh, he's already there. Draft him in the second round. On to the third, he's not there. He's not there anymore. No big deal. He's, like I said, I don't like particularly going after guys like that. Then there's this guy at 70 stuff. That's what I mean. Like, you could get guys with that high of stuff. That guy was so good because his control was much better than usual relievers. But I mean, like, you don't need relievers to have pinpoint control. You just want them to have wipeout stuff, like this guy, if I was to take him here. Any of these guys are probably decent options, like this Joe Wisner guy. Could take him. Or Chad Adams. And the thing about these college relievers is they tend to get to the big leagues rather quickly, but they're just not as valuable of a player as like a starter or a position player at like a value position, like up the middle, like center field, shortstop. And my scat thinks we should take Raul Serrano here, Raul Serrano here from Puerto Rico. Second baseman, went to Foothill JUCO, Foothill Junior College in Los Altos Hills, California. Incredible. This guy is an elite defensive second baseman. Looks like he's going to have some pop and some eye, but nothing really else. OSA is much higher on him than my scout is, and my scout still wants me to take him. So I'm thinking we might have to pull the trigger on Raul Serrano here. Yeah, we're going to do it. We're going to listen to my scout here. We're taking Raul Serrano in the third round. On to the fourth we go. And this Joe Wisner guy is still here. I think we might take him, to be honest. Why not? He throws hard. He's a power pitcher. He's got 80 stamina for no reason whatsoever as a closer. Or who does my scout think we should take here? Chris Walker, a starter. See, I think I'd rather have this guy. He's just, you know, he's a starter. He's a starter from NC State. Gonna have 3 pretty solid pitches. Yeah, we're gonna take this guy. Yeah, we're just gonna take Chris Walker. Listen to my scout in the fourth round. We move things on to round number 5. Joe Wisner's still here. My scout thinks I should take J.J. Feeler, a different reliever, a lefty from Vandy. I mean, Vandy guys are always insane. This guy's a cutter curveball, gonna have much higher control. I mean, Joe Wisner's gonna have really good control too. OSA thinks this guy is incredible. OSA thinks that this guy is still really good, but not as good as the other guy. I mean, I feel like my scout likes this guy for a reason, but, you know, there's also Joe Wisner, and this other guy's a lefty. You can never have too many lefty. I think we're going to take the Vandy guy. We're going to take the Vandy lefty, J.J. Feeler. Why not? Listen to my scout again. We move things on to the 6th round. Wisner is no longer there. My scout thinks we should take Michael Braswell, a shortstop who also can pitch, and it looks like he's actually a really good pitcher. And he's really good defensively all over the diamond. He can play literally anywhere. And he went to Campbell. He's a fighting camel, baby. Not a great bat, you know. Probably not going to be a hitter. More of like a defensive stud. And then also a possibly really good pitcher. So, you know, we're going to take this guy. We're adding to my draftees list. And we're taking Michael Braswell here. Listen to my scout yet again. Scout is winning so far. On all these recommendations, we've got the 7th round now. My scout thinks we should take Chris Cross from from Duke. 94, 96, decent ratings, not the best. Who's this guy? Jeremy Buchholz. Also, for 3 really good pitches, 1 changeup that's going to be slightly below average. Went to a JUCO in California. I don't think so. What about these center fielders here? This guy's got high work ethic. Mike Arzadi from Oklahoma State. He's from Tulsa. Looks like he's a really solid center fielder. Incredible with the speed. Yeah, I think we're going to take this guy with his high work ethic, Mike Arzadi from Oklahoma State. Bada bing, bada boom. We move things on to the 8th round, and we've got, who's this Chris Grotz guy? Or Chris Gotts. Ground ball pitcher from Kentucky. He's a right-hander. He could be something. My scout thinks we should take Luis Lopez, second baseman from some Connecticut high school. Who's this Elijah Croxton guy? Once again, a really elite defensive, really good defensive shortstop, maybe more second baseman with that arm. High leader and work ethic. He's fast, but he can't hit. He cannot hit whatsoever. He's from Georgetown. I do like that. I think I might just kind of take a shot on him with the high work ethic and high leader. Maybe. There's also this Phil Powell guy from Anchorage, Alaska. Interesting. This guy, how do you find a guy who's from Alaska? Like, you're sending scouts out to Anchorage, Alaska? I mean, and apparently the competition level is average in the high school leagues in Anchorage, Alaska. And he's committed to San Diego State. That's how much they believe in that guy. So yeah, Phil Powell, he has no demand. So, yeah, that guy, or do we take Elijah Croxton, the shortstop? I think we're going to take the Anchorage, Alaska. No. We're taking No, we're going to take Phil Powell, the Anchorage, Alaska center fielder. We're going to take him, move things on to the 9th round. Croxton's still here, so we're just going to take him this round. Bang. I do like this guy right here. High work ethic, high intelligence shortstop. Not the greatest stats. He's from the illegitimate state of Israel, or that's his second nation. I mean, he's a decent prospect, so we're going to take him. We now move things on to the 11th round. Is that Maxwell Muncy? Maxwell Muncy. I mean, you got to take this guy. He's got the same name as Max Muncy. This guy's from Arkansas. He's a Razorback. My scout thinks we should take Ron Hamilton, a different Long Beach State guy. Yeah, not interested. So I think we're taking Maxwell Muncy. Why not? Maxwell Muncy, come on down, join the team. We now move things on to the 12th round. There's this guy, Omari Prudhomme from UCLA. Really fast. Looks like he's like drag bunts a lot. Incredible defensive outfielder. Yeah, we're going to take this guy, Omari Prudhomme from UCLA. Yeah, all these pitchers have 20 potential, so we're just getting into those rounds now where we're just kind of like looking for guys that have one really high skill, or guys like this guy, Kevin Woolwin, who has high work ethic and intelligence, incredible defensively, from LSU. Go Tigers. He's from Boise. We're taking Kevin Woolwin here, just banking on the fact that he's a high work ethic, intelligence guy. Now we're going to take this Greg Swift closer. College closer from ECU here in the 14th round because he's got 2 really solid pitches. And then we're going to move things on to the 15th round. There's this Jeremy Moyers guy who also has 2 pretty solid pitches. Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. That's the thing that Mac Chambers guy was from. He's there. There's also this guy with 2 good pitches, 1 forkball that's like slightly below average. Why not? We'll take the other guy. We'll take Jeremy Moyers here. Draft him, and that's it. We're gonna take those first 15 rounds. There's nobody else who I'm really, desperate to get. So we're just gonna auto draft the rest of this. And now we're just gonna go through and make sure that we meet these guys' demands. Alrighty, so we have reached up to June 20th right now. As of recently, we are 6-4 in our last 10, so we're playing pretty well. We're sitting at second place in the AL West, tied for the second wildcard spot with the Royals. Yeah, so we're still very much in the race. We're still sitting pretty. I'm liking where we're sitting with the standings. What I'm not liking is how Margavicius has been pitching this season. And I'm thinking I want to throw him down to the bullpen here and then have just somebody take over his spot. Maybe like Brian Perez, I'd force him to be a starter. And I think I'm going to send down Dean here and then call up somebody from AAA to take his place. Or maybe I'll just leave Dean there. I don't know. Because Dean has not been pitching well. He only has 10 innings. But, it hasn't been, or has Phipps been, I guess he's kind of getting unlucky here. What's the BABIP against him? Yeah, he's getting that's a high BABIP. It's not like his underlying numbers are the worst. So I think, yeah, we're just going to, his whip's not the greatest, but I think we're just going to keep him up here, just give him more of a shot. But we are going to have Brian Perez be forced starter, because right now I have our starters all being forced because Montes, for whatever reason, Ozzie Guillen thinks he should be like a right-handed specialist in the bullpen. So I'm like, yeah, it's not happening. So Margavicius is going to no longer be a starter, and then Brian Perez is going to be, because he's the obvious option here. He's having an incredible season in the bullpen. He's probably our most highly touted guy here that we want to that we want to be like a long-term starter for us. So there we go. So now it's Soroka, Gilbert, Dunn, Montes, and then Brian Perez in that 5th spot among the starting pitchers, while Dean and Margavicius are in the bullpen. And I'm hoping that Margavicius can channel some of that bullpen energy that he had last season, where he was really good in the bullpen all year long, and then towards the end of the season ended up getting 18 starts and being really good as a starter too. But it seems like he literally bounces back and forth. Like he's really good as a starter, then he's pretty okay, then he's not, then he's really good, and then he's not. So, very bouncy, up and down career for Margavicius for us. And then one thing I also did with the bats was I was not liking how Kim was playing as our starter. He hasn't been great, so I benched him, and I now have Rockio starting every day at second base because his numbers have been really good while he's been on the bench. So we're just going to give him a shot as our starting second baseman. And you may be asking yourself, how did Brian Perez's first start go? Went very well. 7 1/3 innings pitched, only gave up 6 hits, 1 run, 3 Ks. I'll take that from Brian Perez. Gets a 6-1 win over the White Sox in his first start of the season. Well, we're still not really scoring runs. And also in the messages, we got our expiring personnel. One thing that's not good is we cannot extend Chris Nathan. He has no interest in being the scouting director for Seattle, which means that he's either tired of being our scouting director, or he has ambitions of being a GM or something. But yeah, he's been our scouting director this entire time, so we're gonna have to find a new guy after this season. And then we also just extended all the guys in the minor leagues that we're able to, and then Mickey Morandini I extended just because he's been a solid bench coach for us. All I really care about is the relationships, and he's got good relationships with our guys. But then Bill Miller is not going to be brought back next season. Our offense has been underwhelming the entire time he's been here. So Bill Miller is not going to be brought back for the 2025 season. And then, yeah, so we're 42-40 right now, 5 games back in the West, still sitting at the second wildcard spot, but just a really tight race here in the wild card, all the way down to the Orioles, who are only 3.5 games out of the wild card. Just a ton of teams still in contention here in the American League. And Ketel Marte has just been diagnosed with a hamstring strain. He is out for 5 weeks. Not great there. He hasn't been the greatest for us. He's just not getting on base. He's really not hitting for us. Ketel Marte has kind of been a disappointing, or I would say definitely been a disappointment, as we are just struggling to score runs here, and our corner outfielders are not helping, because even Kyle Lewis is not really, he's just still being a good defensive corner outfielder, not getting on base, not really hitting enough to be considered a good hitter, and it's just not an ideal scenario here for Kyle Lewis. We need a guy to come up from the minor leagues to play left field. So Rosario is the first option. he is a guy who is not doing anything even in AAA, really. Clase here is somebody who I think might be the guy to come up. Just bring up the 22-year-old and just see what he does. And he might even be like, we might even be better off playing Clase in center than we would Kellnick, because Clase has a better range and error here. He's been a +1.7 ZR guy in AAA, so maybe not. Because if you look at Kellnick in center field, he's actually been a negative ZR guy in center field this year. So I'm thinking that maybe if I throw Kellnick into left field, keep Lewis in right, and then we have Clase in center, I think that could be a thing. We start Kellnick in left, have Clase in center, and Kellnick he'll pick up left field like instantly. Like, we don't have to worry about him playing a terrible left field and giving a bunch of errors. So I think that's the move here. But Banachi hitting really well in AAA. He might be a move to call up too, because he's also expecting to play in the major leagues. We are obviously having like Marte at shortstop. We're not replacing him, obviously, but he's been not great at the plate, but he's been okay with his WRC plus, like below average. But his WAR is still above. He's still like a 1 WAR player. I'm hoping he improves as the season goes on, or as his career goes on. But this is his first year in the big leagues, so oh wow, OSA is really not high on this guy. My scout loves him, but OSA does not. That's interesting. And of course I traded for Riley right as they gave him an extension, because I figured there was, a cheap extension. He was really good. Maybe he'd be able to continue that, but nope, he's just been really bad. Really awful. Not good. Not walking anywhere near to what he was last year. I mean, what is going on here, man? Alright, so even though Kim does have options, we're just going to DFA him, because he's just the guy that, he hasn't lived up to expectations. He had a decent year last year, but, he's just not what we expected him to be. We're gonna DFA him. I'm actually seeing here that Raynell Delgado just won Player of the Week in Tacoma, so I think we're just gonna go with the hot hand here. We're gonna go with the guy. Yeah, Delgado had a really good April, slumped off in May, and has been tearing the cover off the ball in June, and now we're in the start of July. So yeah, we're gonna go with Raynell Delgado. He's gonna come up to the big leagues and play some infield for us. This is what they have the lineups looking like without me locking anybody. So it's Melendez, White, Rocky is at second, Delgado is going to be playing every third game, then every 15th game at third. Then Riley and Marte. Lewis is moved to left, Kellnick's in center, Clase's in right. I tried starting Kellnick to left, but Guillen just wouldn't play him there. Even when I did the update all lineups, he just wouldn't play him there, even when I was starting left. For whatever reason, because Guillen is not a manager who has full control of the lineups, we're still able to force people to start, and he's still just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. So Ozzie Guillen is just not starting him there for whatever reason, so that's fine. Clase can play some right field anyways, so we're going to have him there, and just hope he's able to hit in right field. But at some point, I do want to swing a trade at the deadline to see if we can get ourselves like a big bat here to help out, extend with the rest of the season, and not like a cheap out sort of rental, or I wouldn't mind if it was rental, but you know what I mean, not a cheap out, not really give up anything, and kind of just sort of buy to help out of the offseason. No, I'm trying to go out there and get us a bat at the deadline. Alrighty, so we're here at the International Amateur Free Agents. And I think I'm going to take this 15-year-old guy. We're going to offer him just $5 million off the bat. That's what he wants. My scout is only average scouting accuracy. I think he's only going to be a 50 potential, but with an 80 grade arm and high work ethic, intelligence, has a high baseball IQ. But then OSA thinks that he's just going to be absolutely absurd. So we're gonna offer this guy and just hope he turns into what OSA thinks he is. Huge series we just played against the Mets here. 3-game set against the New York Mets, and we swept them, and now we are up into 2.5 games back in the West, and we are tied into second place here on the wild card with the A's, who are one of the teams in the West with us, obviously. And Jose Urrea, the Anvil here, has signed his deal with us, so we're going to throw him on the kids list, because he literally is a kid, about to be 16 years old. And Kim cleared waivers. So what is he? Is he still guaranteed? Yeah, we have him signed to like a deal. So he's got next year guaranteed, and in 2026 is the team option. Yeah, 24 million. I'm not trying to do that. All right, well I guess he's just going down to AAA as an expensive AAA guy. He's the Korean Rusney Castillo. Oh man, we just followed up that sweep of the Mets with a sweep of the Rays, and now we're at the top of the AL West, a half game up on the Astros. And yeah, that's just beautiful. Let's keep this going. Raynell Delgado has come up. He's had 6 games, and he is continuing to just rip the ball in the big leagues as well. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We just lost to the Angels to break up our win streak, but we won the first game of that set against the Angels. But the highest vote getter, the most votes for the All-Star game, Jared Kellnick. I mean, he is just carrying this team, man. Let's take a look here at these All-Star votes. As do we have any pitchers who made the team? Yes, Juan Fen made it as a reliever. That's good to see. And then as far as the bats go, is Jared Kellnick going to be the only bat on the No, Evan White did. Evan White made it as the first baseman. And then there's Kellnick. A 5.1 WAR at the deadline for Kellnick. Where'd he go? For Jared Kellnick here. I mean, look at this. This guy is a 5.1 WAR, 331, 425, a 621 slugging. He's got 23 home runs. So remember he had 15 at the end of like May. He's doing everything but hitting more home runs, it seems. Alrighty, it's the All-Star break, and we are sitting 2 games in front of the Astros in first place. Just fantastic. Wonderful. I want to avoid that wild card game at all frickin' costs, man. We want to get to the frickin' playoffs as a division winner. Raynell Delgado still hitting up here in the big leagues. That's good to see through the 10 games he's been up. Let's take a look at how our team has been through the first half of the season here. As far as the pitchers goes... this is on the MLB bats, don't want that on that. So as the pitchers goes, sorting by WAR, it's Soroka, Gilbert, Dunn, and then a bunch of like a bunch of guys who are like just about to be 1 WAR. But Soroka's been solid in the rotation. It looks like he's kind of struggled here a bit as of recently. Yeah, so I guess June and July have been kind of struggle months for Soroka, but he got off to a really hot start. He's still been really solid. So Mike Soroka, that's good to see that he's still pitching well. Gilbert's been fine. Dunn's been fine. Montes has been kind of disappointing. Brian Perez, he has 4 starts. 2 of them are quality starts. That's good to see. He's been really good. Delaplane's been fine in the pen. So is Mills. So is Ding Bong Che. He's been actually really solid. Picked him up in the offseason, obviously. Aquino's been fine. Newsom's been really good. So is Then. Obviously, he made the All-Star team. Dean is finally starting to lower that ERA. His FIP is actually up now, but teams are not really hitting against him. He's just kind of giving up a bit too many home runs. And then Gavitis. How has he been as a reliever? Yeah, he's been much better as a reliever. He is... 13 innings. He's just way better as a reliever right now than he is as a starter. So we're going to keep him there in the bullpen. And then if we need to, I don't think we're going to send any of these guys down. I'm not going to send down Frankie Montes. We're just going to trust that he's going to, power through this and eventually, I don't know, bounce back to be this 2-3 WAR player that he usually is. Possibly. Maybe. Or maybe he's just kind of doomed in Seattle for whatever reason. I don't understand. And then for the bats, what we have, this is on MLB Arms now. We want MLB bats. Sort by WAR, and it's just Kellnick and White, man. They are just carrying this team. Literally everybody else is just meh. Obviously Delgado's come up, has been pretty solid, but it's 10 games. You don't know if that's going to continue. Everything else has just been not what you want. Marte has a above 1 WAR, almost 2. Purely because of his defense, though. It's not because... he's got a decent amount of doubles and home runs here. So he's just not, hitting as often as you would like. His BABIP is pretty low, so that's also not good. Yeah, but it's all because of his defense here. He is just a much, much better defender than he is hitter at this point in his career. And, but I mean, like, Austin Riley has been really bad. He's just not getting it done. Kyle Lewis can't really hit right now. Melendez has just been purely a defensive catcher at this point. Even Cal Raleigh is not even hitting. What else do we have here? Rockio's been, like, okay as, like, a bench piece, but he's hitting for no power whatsoever. Votto has been a guy who gets on base and does nothing else, essentially. Bush is getting on base and doing nothing else when he plays. Clase has been 13 games. He's been not great, but it's 13 games. You never thought that'll turn around. And then Almora Jr. is just getting, like, no time for whatever reason. And in the game he has played, he's been really bad. But if we take a look at the AAA team again for the bats, sort that by WAR. And once again, it's Bonacci. Bonacci is the best hitter in AAA right now. Austin Martin's still hitting pretty well, so is Patrick Bailey. Do I dare try to call up Patrick Bailey and have him be a catcher in the major leagues right now? And kind of just, like, hopefully roll the dice that Melendez defensive catching is not what's, like, helping my pitching staff? Because I doubt it is, because we've had Raleigh as our catcher for a while, and he's not, like, the best defensive catcher. But here's something, MJ Melendez, I wanted to see if his catcher's ERA rating was really good, but it doesn't seem like it's that good. But MJ Melendez is throwing out a ton of batters. He is just, I mean, or a ton of base runners, I should say. He's throwing out more guys than Gary Sanchez and JT Realmuto, who have just incredible arms. I mean, Melendez, definitely a guy who's worth keeping in probably for that. So I don't think I'm going to call Patrick Bailey, even though he is hitting well in AAA. It just doesn't make sense to, because there's just no room for him. We were actually going to 4-star Delgado at third instead of second, and just, I mean, I don't know, what am I saying? They think Riley should be the DH. So yeah, they think Riley should be the DH. I mean, he's not hitting, so maybe if he's, like, not concentrating on fielding, he's all of a sudden able to hit, but I doubt it. All right, so I'm not going to do anything with Votto yet, but with Albert Almora Jr., I am. We're going to waive and DFA him. If he doesn't get claimed, we'll release him, because he's not getting paid a lot. It's fine. We'll just pay the rest of his salary right now, and or just add that to the team expenses. He's on a 1-year deal anyways. And then Rosario, who is up to a 383 OBP in AAA right now. He's not doing anything else, but he's getting on base and he's not striking out. And that's what we want from him. So he's going to come up to the big leagues again and hope he turns things around this time. Just throw him there, and we'll have him as just, I don't know, like, I guess the left fielder with Lewis. Oh, no, never mind. They play Lewis and right, and then Clase is the backup. Yeah, I guess we'll do that. We'll have that as the outfield, and then Riley's going to play some DH for now and see how that goes. And then once the trade deadline gets closer, then we're going to try to make a move for just, like, a big bat to really help out. And it's probably going to be like a DH or like a corner outfielder. All right, so Almora did not get claimed. We're just getting rid of him, releasing him. It adds $800K to our expenses. That's fine. Alrighty, so we've kind of gotten off to a rusty start here to the post-All-Star break. Yeah, we're 4-6 in our last 10 right now, but we're still 2.5 up on the Astros because the entire division is shitting the bed right now. So we're still holding on to this lead, but we do want to make sure that we are not shitting the bed the entire second half. Like, once again, the pitching, even our defense, has been completely fine. Everything in the pitching thing has been great, even. And then the hitting is just nothing. We're getting nothing as far as hitting is going. And we need to change that. It's the 29th. We got to make a move.